All right, distinguished colleagues, esteemed guests, everybody who is here watching our episode today, welcome, welcome. My name is Stephanie Michele Sweigart. I am a licensed and practicing school-based speech language pathologist out in Los Angeles, California. My pronouns are she, her, and I'm here today with SpeechTherapyPD.com. Thanks so much for joining us. We have the honor of hosting a remarkable guest speaker for you guys today. This is a true expert in the field of speech language pathology who also has dedicated her time and expertise to creating a presentation that really addresses a critical aspect of our profession. So I'm excited to dive into that today because it's designed specifically for pediatric SLPs, and her presentation kind of delves deeply into the unique needs of children with speech and language-based literacy concerns. So today she's sort of going to touch upon some takeaways that unravel this intricate web of challenges that are faced by these children and shed some light on the profound impact that it has on our roles as SLPs. So through her insights, we hope to explore this understanding of the SLP's role in language, this vital language to literacy connection, if you will, and also effective organization with interdisciplinary teams so that we can immensely contribute to supporting these young minds that we are working with. So I'm giving a warm welcome to our esteemed guest speaker, Megan Cawlfield, CCC-SLP. Megan, howdy, how are you doing?
Doing good. I am so glad to be here. Thank you for that beautiful introduction.
Absolutely. We are so excited to have you too. Thank you for taking the time to share your wisdom and all your little golden nuggets with us today. Tell us, where are you coming from? What are you currently working on?
That's right. I am based in Northwest Arkansas, but I work virtually across the country advocating with parents who are really struggling with this divide between literacy and language and how to get services for their children whenever they're struggling. So I went back to school 2 years ago and just completed my C-SLDI last year in literacy. So I'm excited to help us divide roles and understand how we can really be effective.
Oh, I love that. So when you're working with these parents across the state, are you doing Zoom? Are you driving?
Zoom. A lot of IEP meetings and meetings are now offered virtually. So parents sometimes are in person and I'm the only one virtual. Sometimes we're all virtual, but it's just discussions about how we can work together.
Oh, I love that. Yes, I love what Zoom has allowed all of us to be able to do, including being here right now and being able to talk about your course. You have a free course. This is so exciting. So anybody who's listening, if you wanted to check out SpeechTherapyPD.com in the past and haven't made your way over there, head over to the website because Megan has this free course that's available called SLP's Role in Literacy, a general overview. And I'm excited about this, Megan, because people can come in and give it a trial and check it out. Yeah, so I want to talk about that course today on this episode, and I want to present you with the golden question that we have for you that I think SLPs and probably even SLPAs are really asking, and that is, what do you think we should know? What would be 3 takeaways that we should know to support maybe organization and literacy concerns with our clients?
All right. Well, I think the biggest thing is to understand what the underlying, the smallest piece of the symptom that is causing this big, what we're looking at, the reading concerns. So how do we look and find the smallest piece that is causing the biggest trouble? And then figuring out which role is our role. And because we see how many pieces that are going to have to be treated. So finding the piece, figuring out where our role is, and then understanding how we can work together and coordinating that effectively.
Okay, so let's needle this down a little bit. When we talk about trying to find that small little piece that might be creating the reading challenges, could you maybe give us some examples for our listeners of what some of those might be when they pop up?
Sure. So whenever we're evaluating for language, we're always looking at receptive language and expressive language. And then now we know, well, we got to look at phonology, but then sometimes we look at phonology and we don't see enough of a concern there. So how do we know how much of a concern is enough of a concern to affect reading? And how do we find that nitty-gritty piece? So usually it's phonemic segmentation or phonemic blending or automatic naming. Or processing long-term memory. We're going to have to really, really dive into a really specific part of our scope and sequence, of our practice, our scope of practice, I'm sorry.
Yes, no, that makes a lot of sense. Okay, so once we've kind of thought through all those, maybe have a little checklist, do our detective work and see what's calling out, is that when we determine where our role as an SLP is, when we needle into one of those specific elements?
Right. We do have to understand what the underlying concern is for the child. And then once we're all working together, we see the big pie, everything that we're going to have to do. Well, an SLP can't do that whole thing, but we understand that we are the foundation of that concern. And so we can definitely help with that foundation, but we have to understand where it is, where to grab the data, what materials to use, and then how to work together to support that person who's really able to do that next part.
Okay, wonderful. So let's talk about that multidisciplinary working together piece. Who are some of the other players that come to the scene when we're talking about these literacy based concerns with our clients?
And working across the country, I realized that every team is really different. Every team at school is different. Every parent is different. Resources are different. So it always depends on what is the situation for this child. So put the team together and then see, who do you have? You usually have a teacher, a mom, a child, and then if we're there, we have a speech pathologist. That is the core of any team. It seems like, we have it, but then on top of that, we really need someone who's certified in structured literacy. We need somebody to address some of the other needs like visual concerns or coordination concerns, like an occupational therapist. We might have vision. We might have other therapies to support the concern, maybe for executive functioning, for instance.
Okay, I love that. And I like how you point out the teams look different in different places, because my brain right now as a school-based SLP is going to the team members that I'm used to seeing on a school team, but I've never worked in a clinic, so I don't know. But it sounds like maybe it's just a matter, it's not necessarily different roles. It's the same professionals, but maybe not all those professionals are necessarily working in your organization, because I'm thinking back and I remember we didn't have a vision specialist specifically in some of the districts that I worked in. We had to.
If you did, then is there a need for this? If you just start with the needs of the child and the team that you have, and then once you understand your team and your needs, then that team is going to make sure that all those needs are met. And then maybe we need to add a team member. But
yeah. And I'm remembering that we would add the team member, so we would reach out to different services and have.
If you feel like that there's a need that is not being addressed by the team that we have, then we need to add a member to our team, either through consult or more than that.
Awesome. Okay, so let me recap this. So we're going to sort of, put on our detective hats, and we're going to try to figure out what really niche it down into what the smallest of concerns might be that's creating, a bigger challenge. Then we're going to figure out what our role is when we identify that piece and gather our team together, gather our resources together. Am I missing a step? I feel like I'm missing a step of your 3. Or did I get them?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, and then there's also different stages in the process. Are we talking about the screening stage? Are we talking about the evaluation stage? Are we talking about treatment? Are we talking about, there's different parts in the process. So I think that the takeaway is being able to understand whenever you're part of a team that you should be part of that team. The biggest concern that I have is that I reach out to teams and they're like, why is the speech therapist not on this team? Well, speech therapists are not on a lot of reading teams. And I think that that's what should change. So yes, speech pathologists should be on the team, because we should be able to help figure out what's at the bottom. We should take that piece as our own, and then we should work together.
I love that. Wow. Okay. So there's a lot of moving parts.
Yeah.
Right. There's a lot of moving parts.
Takeaway is, please be part of the team. If you're not sure what to do, just be part of the team. You will get there.
You will get there. So, okay, so you're talking about resources, and I'm curious, this is your area of expertise. You've got a presentation on this. If people want to find out more about this and they want to find out more about your resources, where would they go to do that? Do you have any social sites, websites?
Sure. Yeah, I'm happy to talk to any speech therapist for free for the first time. I do a lot of consulting. And so I'm at virtualmilestoneacademy.com.
Okay.
And I consult with speech pathologists, but I also consult with parents. And I'm happy to figure out how we can work together and how to help you answer those nitty-gritty questions that sometimes we can't find.
Okay, I love that. So anybody who's listening, we're going to put that link below in the show notes. So you can literally just click on the link and go and you will find Megan. So Megan, thank you so much for spending your time with us today and sharing some of these golden nuggets that you have from your course, these takeaways from your free course on speechtherapypd.com. And I love hearing about what all the different SLPs are involved in and the different projects. And I love what you're doing in Arkansas, Northwest Arkansas.
Yes, I live in the Ozarks. It's beautiful.
Oh, that does sound beautiful. I've never been, but now I want to Google it.
Definitely, it's the place to be.
Well, thank you so much. Before we sign off today, I just want to remind everybody that mindfulness and compassion-based practices really can be a powerful tool, even for pediatric SLPs who are working with children's speech and language-based literacy concerns. So just, a couple little tidbits, just to remember present moment awareness, just really being fully present in the moment in your children's therapy sessions and the interaction that you guys are having at hand. You can really start to pick up on those cues from the child that you're working with, which is going to allow for more effective communication and language support and more of that, wearing that detective hat and the things that you observe. And when it comes to your observation, the next tip is really remembering to stay non-judgmental in your observation. So when you're reviewing your child's progress, we want to do so without judgment, without labeling good or bad or how far along they are, but really encouraging acceptance of the child's current abilities or their current challenges and where they are. And this will really foster a supportive and empathetic environment. And this is essentially really effective for therapy. And the last little tidbit is breath awareness. Even SLPs or for your kiddos, when you're modeling it, remember to take those deep breaths and incorporating simple breathing exercises. You can do it before your sessions, in the middle of your sessions, or even after your sessions. This helps calm your mind, reduce stress. It also promotes emotional regulation. So if you can't regulate, or if a child can't regulate their own emotions, by you regulating yours, you're being of support to them. So remember, by integrating these mindfulness practices, you can enhance your ability to connect with children on a deeper level, understanding their needs a little more profoundly and offering more effective support with their speech and language or literacy-based concerns. Thank you, everybody, for being here today. If you want to take a deeper dive into this topic that we talked about and further your education, be sure to check out the course SLP's Role in Literacy, a General Overview, on speechtherapypd.com with our amazing presenter, Megan Cawlfield. Thank you, Megan. Everybody else, for other topics, if you want to head over to speechtherapypd.com, you can subscribe and get 1 year access to over 900 live and on-demand courses, and you're going to scoop up those ASHA CEUs. So be sure to head over to that site. If you found this video helpful, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. We would love to hear from you, so feel free to comment in the comment sections below. And we will see you back here next week as we are answering more of those golden questions that SLPs and SLPAs are asking. We have the answers for you. We'll see you then, everybody.